Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I saw this video said POV, you are undecided as to whether you want a representation of happy marriages on social media. Okay, let's take a list. I like discourse that will make us think
My mother, what is the benefit of
or
marriage to a
rethink our way of life.
woman?
So
And the
let's hear
reason
what
I
she's got to
asked
say.
that question was when I was 15, I
Oh,
asked my mother, what is the benefit of marriage to a woman? And the reason I asked that question was that all around me, I had not seen a single happily married woman. I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. I did not know one woman around me within my neighborhood, within extended family, nuclear family. I did not know a single woman who was happily married at that time. And so I asked, I don't know, what is the benefit of marriage to a woman? And my mother could not answer that question on the spot. It took my mother 24 hours, and by 24 hours, she created an avenue the next day wherein she could bring up the question I asked and give me an answer to it. And she responded the next day and said, I think the benefit of marriage to women is the children, right? Now, I may have been 15 at that time, but I was not stupid. I used to think way differently from every other person around me. And I also
let me not lie to you. I'm in Nigeria. I grew up in Nigeria. This also was my reality growing up. There was no marriage around me that could, show that, oh, this woman is happy. None. And I won't even lie you. And when I started reading novels, it was just so I think it was only in books that happy marriage was obtainable. And it took me leaving my vicinity. Then I was already in my 18, like I was already heading into my early 20s. It wasn't in my late 20s that I actually started seeing happy couples, people that genuinely, are friends with themselves, happily married. And let me not lie, it swapped my perspective of marriage for the longest time. I remember when I was 18, I got my first marriage proposal. I was like, me, get married. Like I couldn't even imagine myself. So I will not become all those women I was seeing. That was what was going on in my head. And it made me for the longest time detest marriage. I won't even lie to you. So
had
I
a
totally understand where she's
feminist
coming from.
tendencies even
Okay.
when I was 15, even though I did not know the definition of feminism and I did not know that the school of thought that I already had or aligned with was called feminism at that time. But I already had that tendencies, and I remember scoffing. I'm like, a woman doesn't need to be married to have children. If children is the only benefit of marriage to a woman, she doesn't need to be married. She doesn't need to put herself through this extreme pain, all this pain, all this struggle just to be married. But my mother had told me back then that children raised outside of the institution of marriage in Nigeria were not given as much accord and respect as children were raised within a marital institution. When I was 16, that's a year later, I finished my national examination, that my West African Examination Council, we call it WAEC. I finished it, and a family friend of ours invited me over to his house for vacation. I went to his house, and that was the first representation that I had of a happy marriage. Okay, the man had gotten married like 2 or 3 years prior. They had a child already, and the wife was heavily pregnant. The man did not stress the woman in any way. The kind of respect, friendship, partnership that I experienced within that 3 weeks that I spent in that house, I don't know how to describe it. But what I witnessed was so strange. At first, within the first few days of arriving, I thought that they were definitely pranking me, right? I thought they were acting drama and that they would drop the axe in a matter of days. It was shocking to me to see them, continued with the love, with the affection. They were always cuddling, they were always whispering sweet nothings in their ears. The man was a full-time provider and the woman was a stay-at-home mom. But whatever thing that the woman did was met with so much respect, so much appreciation. If she cooks a meal, the man would declare to the high heavens that that was the most delicious meal he has eaten in his life. And this pattern was repeated every day. If she cooks rice in the morning, he would declare that that's the most delicious rice he has eaten. If she cooks that same rice in the night, he would say the same thing, and so on and so forth. Within that 3 weeks, my eyes opened to a new possibility that all men are not the same, that there are good men, there are bad men, and that there are good marriages.
This lady is just describing my life literally. That was the same thing, but mine was a period of 6 months that I saw, and this like it was a cousin of mine. I saw the way he was treating his wife and the way the wife was treating him.
And they are,
In
they
my
are
head, I was
bad
like,
marriages.
so
Before, in my mind,
these
I'd
are
always
people I know. Not like I knew when they got like I knew when they got married. I knew when they got married. So it's not like it's somebody I don't know. So consistently, they were consistent. They were consistent in that love they were showing it to each other. That intentionality, like the respect and the honor. Like okay, so this that was when I discovered that these things I used to read in book is actually obtainable in reality. That was when my reality changed, our perspective changed, and I won't even lie. That was when my perspective changed, and it did something to me. And like she said, those are now realize that there are actually people out there enjoying marriages.
thought that there were only bad
People are
marriages and
enjoying
that
it.
bad marriage did not favor anyone. But I was witnessing firsthand a woman being treated with love, kindness, respect. I was witnessing everything that we had always seen in the movies. And I made a vow that day in that home. Although I have never told this couple this particular, they were there at my wedding, but I never told anybody this particular story. I made a vow there and then that I will marry once and I will marry right. And the man that I will marry will love me, will respect me, will be kind to me, will value me, and that I will also love, respect, and value the man that I marry. That singular representation of marriage that I witnessed at the age of 16 is the reason that I eventually got married when I was 27. And last week, my husband and I were on our on the couch, we're cuddling, watching a movie, and he was just telling me how I am the best wife in the world. He was just, whispering sweet nothings in my hair, and I got, the way they do it in the movie, where you get this swift flashback, and the moment my mind flashed back to was just that marriage that I experienced at the age of 16, that home that I had witnessed at the age of 16. My mind just went back, and I said, wow. I became emotional. I was like, oh, I got my happy ending after all, right? So whenever I come on social media and I see women say we need a representation of happy homes online so that women will know that not all marriage is bitter, I am inclined to believe them. I am inclined to support that school of thought, because the reason that I got married was one representation of happy home. That home that I saw made me realize that not all marriage was bad, right? However, I am also inclined to not have marriages, to say that I do not want happy marriages to be shown on social media. And that is because of my personal experience. Let me explain. So while I said that I witnessed a happy home and it made me desire my happy home, I also must point out that I was 16. Before that time, I was already bitter. I was already angry. But I was not too far gone in my anger. I was not too far gone in my bitterness. I was 16. The world had not spoiled me yet. The world had not spoiled me yet. I had not gone out. I had not I had not heard other cases. I had only seen those within my environment. So while I was bitter, some part of me was still naive. Some part of me was still unspoiled, untouched. But there are many women on social media now who are completely damaged. These women are completely embittered. These women are spoiled. They've experienced bitter homes. They themselves they've witnessed it. They themselves have experienced it. These women are damaged. If you come on social media to say something as little as my husband does not cheat, you will be so shocked at the amount of pushback you will get from women, the amount of mocking tones, sarcasm, insults, derogatory words, bad wishes that women will be wishing you. And in your mind you'll be like, oh my god, I can't.
And to be honest, I don't think in this lifetime that I have, I will ever understand why another human being will be wishing you bad just because you came on to share your good experience. When I read comments under all those videos, I'm always in awe. Like, really? Are you this bitter to the extent that because you had the bad experience, that everybody should experience the same? Come on, life is not like that. And I will keep saying it. I know there are bad men. The same way there are bad men is the same way there are bad women. We've seen it happen around us, and you cannot tell me nothing. You cannot tell me, oh, all women are good and all men are bad. Come on now. If that were to be the case, I don't think this world would be enough for us. And I'll keep saying it. The very the very time that men decide to start sharing their own bad experience from women, it will shock us. Even though we women would not like believing or not saying after it's happening to women. That's usually the case you see. When a man come out to share his bad experience, you will not be seeing women in the comments say after women has been enduring it. Is it because the men have not been speaking up? And someone will say, hey, who told them not to speak up? And they think society even expects men to chest it after you are a man. We really need to change our perspective. Like, we really need to change it. See, that you've experienced something bad does not necessarily mean that's the way the whole world is. The whole world should not start viewing the world with from your own perspective. That's a very close mindset, like a very myopic way of thinking. And like you said, I think that's also my case. I was still naive when I discovered that I was already in my 20s actually when my first experience of a happy home, like people I know. But of course, back then social media wasn't the way it is now. So it was easy for me to the same way I on my own concluded that marriage is bad. The same way on my own I also came to that conclusion that okay, just maybe there's also part of another side of good marriage. Do you get the same thing? That's and I've come to realize in this life that whatever you expect, that's what will happen to you. And don't allow the experiences of others to form your own opinion. I think that's where a lot of us get it wrong. The fact that people are coming on social media to share bad experiences, will now use their experience to form our own opinion. That's a very bad place to be in this life. Like, that's the wrongest place anyone can be. Don't allow yourself to do that. Don't allow other people's experiences or opinion to form. Don't use it to form your own opinion. That's the wrong and the worst thing you can have allow happen to yourself. I think it's safe to stop it here. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. See you in the next video. Bye.